All right, everybody. So it's been a while since I did a Python data science tutorial or data analysis tutorial. Um, so I thought I will get back to it, and I've been a little rusty in programming. So I thought I would start with something very basic and light, which is a simple marketing analytics or an e-commerce data analysis on a e-commerce store from Brazil, for which we have the data. The data is from Kaggle, and now the data is really good. The data has the order details, the customer's details, the product details, and everything you need to do some great sophisticated analysis. But for this first video, I wanted to do a simple e-commerce data analysis or a simple marketing analysis so that we can understand what the purchase behavior, the delivery times, and everything, so that we can get some great insights out of it. Then we will develop on this data set in the next future videos as well into more advanced analytics. So let me just set up this uh, notebook. So I'm going to use Kaggle notebook. You can use wherever you want. And I'm going to directly import the data set from Kaggle itself, since the data set is available on Kaggle. So let me delete this. Just open a couple of lines of codes. All right, so first let's start by importing the necessary packages. So we're going to use pandas for data manipulation, as you all know, NumPy for numerical calculations, and Seaborn and Matplot for statistical graphs, which is an integral part of any analysis you do. Now there's a wide range of data in this, from data on Kaggle on this particular e-commerce store. So we're going to use order data, products data, customer data, and order items. All right, so now we have imported 4 data sets. As you can see, orders, products, order items, and customers. But since we are doing a comprehensive analysis, it'll be really great if we could combine them all into one data frame. It'll be easier and effective for us. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to combine, or let's say merge the 4 data sets into one. All right, so we basically use the merge function, and based on the unique identifiers like customer ID, order ID, and product ID, we have combined these 4 data sets into one, and we have stored them in this data frame. Now, if you open this, you can clearly see everything, the entire data set here. It has like 26 columns and almost 112,000 rows. All right, so now let's dive into understanding more about the data we have. So we have 26 columns or 25 columns, and we have most of them are object data types, some are float and some are integers. So basically, as you could see, based on these columns, you can do a wide range of analysis here, but just to keep it simple and effective. So I'm gonna just do a few of them so that we can understand the purchase behavior and everything. So that's my focus is today, and we also understand how efficient our delivery process is. So in order to understand that, we need some of the key values here, like the order delivery date, order purchase date, product category name, price, and everything. So let's see the null characteristics. So other thing is, like, since we're going to use these order purchase timestamp and order delivery customer date timestamp, we have to change the data time from object to date time so that we can effectively use them. Also, let's check the null situation. As you could see, we need to solve this null issue for the order delivery date because we're going to use that value, and we have to solve the null issue for this category name as well. Rest all, we could see several other nulls, but we are not going to use them in this analysis. So either you can omit them or you can solve them together while you solve these. So let's get into, let's say, data cleaning. Let's start by first converting the date columns to date time data type. All right, so now that is solved, and product category is solved. So all these are solved right now. So now let's check the data type. All right, so as you can see, purchase approved and customer date, we have them in date times export timestamp, which is exactly what we want. Now we can get back, get into doing some interesting analysis. So first, let's do something. Let's calculate the delivery time taken in average. So now, if you actually copy this and run this, you will get the specific days for each and every order delivery, how long it took for each and every order delivery. So these are in days, basically 15 days, 15 and a half days. So that's why the reason we are like dividing by 86,400 is because that's the total number of seconds in a day. So we need to do that in order to convert it to days. So now let's move on to further analysis. So what we can do is let's analyze the order status. Okay, so let's just plot them basically. So we're going to use matplotlib. Then let's run this up. And as you can see, this is a general bar plot, which I haven't put up the title and everything, but you can do it. So most of these orders, as per the data, is all delivered and some of them are shipped. And third, we have some orders on canceled. Now that, if you're doing further, more going deep into analytics on this particular data set, you can understand why they are canceled and just, which we will do, but not in this video. So let me just add the plot title, x-axis and y-axis. Now let's dive further into understanding what are the top 10 product categories, analyzing the top 10 product categories. So what we're going to do is that we're going to just swap this with product category name just to filter that particular column. And we're going to take value counts as usual, but we are just going to take the top 10. So we're going to just say enter this head bracket 10, which actually means we need the top 10 based on the value counts. If you run this, now we could see the top 10 product categories. Now, if you want to play around with the number of values you want to show in the grid, if you want to see the top 5, you just say 5. It'll just show up the 5, and you can just basically change the title as well. All right, so that's how easy it is to use or do it in Python, these kind of analysis. Now, we understood, we have the data, a separate column, which we found out to understand how long it takes for each and every product to be delivered. So if you run this, that's what it will give you based on for each and every column, and it will do that for the 112,000 columns. But we need to understand the distribution so that we can effectively understand how long our services take to be delivered. Okay, so let's just plot them. So what we can do is that we can just create a distribution plot. That will be really great. So we are going to use Seaborn for the first time here in this project. All right, so as you can see, this is the histogram chart. And what I basically did was I fixed the figure size, then I brought in Seaborn and asked it to bring its historical plot, histogram basically into the environment. Then I basically gave the values from which it was to generate the chart. Then I just gave it a title and the links label. So as you can see now, this is much better to understand your delivery time or delivery frequency. So as you can see, most of our products are delivered around the 20 to 22 days time frame. Now, if it's an e-commerce brand in 2024, it's very late. So you should be having your products delivering around 0 to 1 days. That's where most of your products timeline should be. But here it's 20 to 22, let's say. This gives us a more pictorial idea on where do we stand. Now let's go a little bit deep and let's understand customer locations, where they are coming from. So let's run this one more and see whether we have any data we can use. Yeah, we can use customer state for that, or customer city if you want to use. But since we are going to take Brazil in total, I'm going to stick to state here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say analyze customer states. All right, so what I basically did, I just used a similar bar chart, but I brought in the customer state column here and asked it to do a value count on the number of states and what state has the highest order value. So as you could see, most of it comes from most of the order count comes from Sao Paulo. I think it's one of the biggest city, or biggest state within Brazil. So if you want to just find out, let's say the top 5, you can again run this. It will then show you just the top 5. by states, and we can just name this top 5. So again, these are very simple ways to understand how your sales are doing, how where your consumers are coming from, which state they are coming from, and everything for better understanding of effective marketing campaigns or marketing strategies. Now let's do something related to logistics. Let's find out, is there any correlation between price and the freight value? Because I saw the freight value column here somewhere. Yep, here we go. There we have it. So we can use these two to understand and find out, is there any correlation between them. So all right, so before I put in the chart title and everything, so now as you can see, this data plot is pretty dense, and as you can see, as price increases, there is a switch up in the freight value, but not necessarily, but because as you can see, even for products around $1,000, the freight value is around $400, but the product's value of South Ocean, it's around $200 to $300. So from this we can understand there's no sub-pricing correlation. It's exactly what we think. It's like for price, when the price increases, it doesn't mean actually when it comes to e-commerce, it could lead to higher freight, because sometimes you could buy a mobile phone which is $7,000 and you can buy a furniture which is like $2,000. So that could be the price of that could be the freight value which is higher, and for the mobile phone it could be around 7,000. So that's something we can understand. It depends on the store, because with this e-commerce store we don't find any surprising correlation, but if it's some other data, then there is a high chance you find some interesting correlation. So now let's do some time series analysis of orders. Doing time series analysis of orders will help us prepare for any seasonality, surge in purchases. It could be because of July 4th or any other holidays. Doing time series based on historical data will help us be prepared. So let's do that here. So all right, so now this is a beautiful time series chart, which, I mean, you can further beautify this chart, but the simple chart clearly shows you there is a surge of sales for up to number of orders. Like as you see, it looks like an outlier here, and it falls right under the Thanksgiving, Christmas time. So Black Friday, Thanksgiving time, to be specific. So that justifies the fact, because usually people make a surge of purchase during that time. So using this data, we can also understand there are surges around June, July, and there are surges in August, so that we can be prepared for any other seasonality surge in purchases. So what I did basically, so I created a factor called orders over time based on the orders purchase tab. And what I did was I resampled the data into day time frame, and so that it can count the number of orders per day. And once that's done, that's what resampling does, and count basically counts the values. And then it's simple as what we did for all the other graphs. So basically, we just plotted a time series chart. And finally, just to conclude this video, I'm going to do some average metrics here. So for example, let's say these are some of the key metrics calculated. All right, so basically what I did here is I've calculated the average order value. It's almost $138, and average delivery time. Oops, we don't need that here. So it's like 24 days, and repeat customer rate is 12.44%, which means only 12.44% out of 100 is coming back and making purchase, which itself communicates a clear flaw in our marketing or customer retention strategies. So like I said, I'm going to stop this video here. It's just an intro marketing analytics you can do into an e-commerce data to understand where you guys stand, how your sales look, how your orders look, where your customers are from. But in the future videos, I'm going to do some advanced analytics and forecasting and all the other stuff. So see you in the next.